Welcome to Discovery Dynamics. Today, we're serving up a mix of mind-blowing, unexpected, and downright fun facts that you won't want to miss. Whether you're here to learn something new or just to fuel your curiosity, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this whirlwind of discoveries together. Have you ever wondered how long you can go without releasing gas? On average, a person produces about 500 to 1,500 milliliters of gas daily, primarily made up of hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide, with some individuals producing up to 120 milliliters of methane. This gas is mostly derived from swallowed air, the reaction between bicarbonate and stomach acid, and the activity of intestinal bacteria. Foods rich in sulfur, such as beans and broccoli, can add sulfur to the mix, resulting in the unpleasant smell. Interestingly, men and women produce similar amounts of gas, contrary to popular belief. As for how long you can hold it in, just a few hours at most. In severe cases like intestinal obstruction, it may be possible to retain gas for only a few days before the consequences become life-threatening. Trapped gas can build up in your digestive system, causing bloating, pain, cramps, and, ultimately, death. While often a source of humor, farting is no laughing matter when it comes to your health. The measurement systems used around the world can seem strange, but there's one area where the American system truly shines: Fahrenheit. It might seem confusing at first if you're not used to it, but let me break it down. Unlike Celsius, where most meaningful temperatures for daily life are crammed into a narrow range, typically between 0 and 30 to 40 degrees, Fahrenheit offers a much more intuitive scale for everyday experiences. In Fahrenheit, 0 degrees is bitterly cold, and 100 degrees is scorching hot. This scale aligns with how temperatures feel in a way that's easy to grasp. For example, 50 degrees Fahrenheit feels cool but not freezing, 30 degrees Fahrenheit is cold, 70 degrees Fahrenheit is pleasantly warm, and 90 degrees Fahrenheit is very hot. Essentially, Fahrenheit reflects how you might rate the temperature on a scale of 1 to 100. It's a practical system for understanding and communicating temperature differences in a way that just makes sense for daily life. Flu, cold, COVID-19, and RSV are all respiratory illnesses that tend to increase during the fall. While they share common symptoms like fever, cough, nasal congestion, or a runny nose, they are caused by different viruses, leading to some distinct differences. COVID-19, caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus, and the flu, caused by the influenza virus, both can result in headaches, sore throats, and loss of work. However, COVID-19 often includes a sudden loss of taste and smell, whereas the flu is more likely to cause sneezing. Generally, headaches and loss of appetite are not typical, and even healthy children can catch these illnesses multiple times a year. RSV, particularly dangerous for infants, can cause symptoms such as head bobbing, chest retractions, and wheezing during breathing. How long can you survive without drinking water? The longest recorded survival without water is by an 18-year-old named Andreas Mihav, who was accidentally left in a detention center in Austria for 18 days and was found near death but revived. This is an extreme case, as typically, a person can survive without water for up to 3 to 5 days, though this can vary. Dehydration reduces blood volume, causing the heart to work harder, disrupts electrolyte balance, and leads to kidney failure. This results in symptoms like dizziness and muscle cramps, and eventually, neuron damage due to electrolyte imbalance. When neurons can no longer transmit signals, the body goes into shock and shuts down. Currently, about half of the world's population, or 4 billion people, face water shortages for at least 1 month each year. There's no universal rule for the healthiest sleeping position, as individual factors and health conditions play a significant role. Generally, patients with neck pain find stomach sleeping beneficial, while those with sleep apnea should avoid sleeping on their backs. For individuals with glaucoma, sleeping with the affected eye facing upwards reduces pressure. Those with sleep apnea should avoid back sleeping. People with neck pain may find stomach sleeping alleviates discomfort. For those without underlying health concerns, sleeping position makes little difference. However, maintaining comfort and support through proper pillows and mattresses is essential. A significant number of deep freezers are capable of reaching temperatures as low as -30 degrees. The question therefore arises as to the duration of survival that would be possible in such a freezer. Experiments have demonstrated that extremities, such as the pinky finger, begin to freeze within 70 to 80 seconds if they are not insulated with thick clothing. In the event that these frozen tissues do not undergo immediate thawing, it becomes necessary to excise them. It has been demonstrated that the shivering that accompanies the cold can generate 10 times more heat than usual, thereby providing a temporary increase in body temperature. However, this process is highly energy-consuming and can lead to fatigue and the need for sleep within a short time. Furthermore, when individuals experience a state of drowsiness in frigid environments due to exhaustion or the consumption of alcohol, their body temperature can plummet to below 35 degrees, which can significantly impede respiratory function. Consequently, the heart muscles contract and remain in a constricted state. Consequently, the body, unable to receive sufficient oxygen, succumbs within an hour. It is therefore imperative to exercise caution in environments where temperatures are known to be extremely low, such as in the proximity of freezers or other refrigeration equipment. The question must therefore be posed: what is it about such landscapes that engenders a sense of peace in the observer? The underlying reason for this phenomenon is that humans possess an innate tendency to establish connections with the natural environment and other living beings within it. This innate tendency, termed biophilia, underlies our profound attraction to and reliance on animals. However, it is not only animals that are the subject of this phenomenon. Studies have also been conducted on the benefits of spending time in nature with plants. It has been demonstrated that exposure to natural environments, including extraordinary landscapes, has a positive effect on human health. This phenomenon can be attributed to the fact that our ancestors inhabited environments characterized by abundant plant and animal life, which provided numerous advantages. Consequently, exposure to these environments, and more specifically, the experience of being in such environments, exerts a positive influence on the human physiological and psychological well-being. It is interesting to consider the question of how long the human body is capable of surviving without eating. One of the most renowned illusionists of the modern era, David Lane, achieved a remarkable feat of endurance by surviving for 44 days without eating, despite experiencing a weight loss of 25% from his initial weight. In 1920, during a hunger strike in Ireland that lasted for 94 days, the protesters demonstrated remarkable resilience. In 1976, a large number of obese subjects were given no food for 40 days and all survived. However, a person of average weight can only survive starvation for 20 to 30 days under normal conditions. It is possible to endure until that point, after which the metabolism slows down and the body temperature cannot be maintained because not enough energy is produced. Consequently, insufficient energy is delivered to vital organs, such as the heart and brain, resulting in a deficiency in oxygen and nutrients. The tallest person alive today is Sultan Qasim from Mardin, Turkey, standing at 2.51 meters. However, the tallest person in recorded history was Robert Wadlow, who reached a height of 2.72 meters, making him 21 centimeters taller than Qasim. Compared to the average male height, Wadlow was precisely 1 meter taller. For context, the average height for women is approximately 1.60 meters. Such extraordinary height is often caused by tumors affecting the hypothalamus gland, leading to excessive secretion of human growth hormone and a condition known as gigantism. This raises the question: how tall can a person actually grow? Calculations suggest a theoretical maximum height of 2.74 meters. Living healthily at such extreme heights is incredibly challenging, as illustrated by Wadlow, who passed away at just 22 years old, only 2 centimeters shy of this estimated limit. Do you think the pain of love can kill you? Yes, the pain of love can potentially harm your health, and in extreme cases, it might even be fatal. When you go through a breakup or lose a loved one, the primitive parts of your brain, which are accustomed to the hormones associated with attachment and happiness, cannot comprehend the separation. These areas continue to crave hormones like oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, but with their source gone, the body produces them in insufficient amounts. This hormonal imbalance disrupts normal functioning, leading to stress and fear. To cope, the body increases catecholamine secretion, which puts additional pressure on the heart. For those with existing heart conditions, this can result in broken heart syndrome, potentially leading to a heart attack and death. A study involving 1.5 million people aged 15 to 20 found that the risk of heart attack increases by 35% within 6 months for those who lose a spouse. Taking care of your emotional and physical health during such times is crucial. Does reading books truly make your brain healthier? Unlike watching videos, which requires minimal effort from a passive viewer, reading books actively engages your brain. As you read, you think critically, comprehend, and use your imagination, which plays a key role in understanding. This process strengthens neural connections and helps slow down the decline in memory and cognitive flexibility associated with aging. Studies show that individuals who read the most books by the age of 60 are 3 times less likely to develop dementia or Alzheimer's than those who don't read. Interestingly, these studies also reveal that it doesn't matter whether you're reading a casual teenage magazine or a classic like The Origin of Species. What's most important for brain health is not what you read but the simple act of reading itself. Do you think a punch to the heart can stop it from beating? The heart beats due to signals generated by a nerve node located in the atriums, the upper part of the heart. Unlike other muscles, the brain does not command the heart to contract, the heart initiates its own rhythm. These signals ensure that the atriums contract first to push blood into the ventricles, which then contract to pump blood. Oxygen-depleted blood is sent to the lungs for purification, while oxygen-rich blood is distributed to the body through the aorta. The rhythmic nature of this process depends on undisturbed nerve signals. If these signals are disrupted, the heart may contract uncontrollably, leading to conditions like ventricular fibrillation or even a heart attack. While it is exceedingly rare, a force strong enough to interfere with the heart signals, such as a punch to the chest, can cause these issues. There have been documented cases where athletes experienced life-threatening conditions or fatalities from impacts to the chest during sports. In the event of infection by a pathogen, whether bacterial or viral, the resulting illness is contingent upon the quantity of the pathogen that enters the host organism. The infectious dose, denoted by 50, is the quantity of a pathogen required to induce disease in at least 50% of the subjects in a given population. For instance, in the year 2012, the infectious dose for bacteria was determined to be 50. In the case of MERS, which materialized in the same location, this figure is 1. If a single grain of the virus enters the body, a 100% chance of illness is observed. For SARS-CoV-2, this number varies between 200 and 800. For Salmonella, it is approximately 1,000. For dysentery bacteria, it ranges from 10 to 200. For instance, consider enteropathogenic E. coli. For bacteria, the median is between 10 million and 10 billion, indicating that it is not easily transmitted. It should be noted that these are experimental and average values, which vary from person to person and are influenced by their immune system. It is a widely documented fact that all automobiles are equipped with an internal explosive device, the force of which is equivalent to hundreds of kilos of TNT. This is a consequence of the internal combustion engine. The internal combustion engine is arguably the most prevalent technological innovation in modern times, being a feature of all gasoline and diesel cars. This is due to the fact that it functions as a controlled explosive. These explosions are meticulously regulated in size. For instance, when a 200 horsepower vehicle is driven at an average speed of 3,000 rpm for approximately 8 hours, the energy output from the explosions in the engine is equivalent to 1 ton of TNT. In the event of all such detonations occurring simultaneously, the resultant effect would be cataclysmic. It is for this reason that the earliest vehicles were not powered by gasoline, rather, they were electrically powered. Do you feel like time is passing faster as you get older? Because it is, time in the world passes 1 second faster every second. Yes, but our perception of that 1 second is not always the same. We think that time has passed by suddenly while we are sleeping. We wake up 8 hours later with a bang, or it is as if time has stopped next to our loved one. It feels like a lifetime, but in an uncomfortable environment. More importantly, our perception of time changes with age. As we get older, we feel that time is passing faster. Therefore, the time flow that someone who lives for 80 years feels in the first 25 years and the next 55 years is roughly the same. Do you understand what I mean? Maybe not in terms of absolute time, but when we look at it perceptually, the halfway point is not 35 years old, friends. Maybe 20, maybe 25. It is said that drinking water while standing is harmful. Is this true? The basis of this claim is the belief that the stomach of a person standing stretches. Therefore, the water that is drunk passes directly to the intestines without spending enough time in the stomach. Although the shape of the organs changes very little between sitting and standing, it is big enough to change the behavior of water in the stomach. There is no difference anyway. The part of the stomach that opens to the intestines is kept closed during digestion, and thus the mixture in the stomach cannot pass into the intestines right away. Water facilitates digestion in the stomach and regulates stomach acid. Contrary to some claims, there is no harm in drinking water while eating. Water lasts for 5 to 30 minutes, depending on how full your stomach is at that moment. It stays in your stomach for a long time, which is more than enough for water to do its job. Such beliefs are derived from ancient times to create self-awareness about eating and drinking. They are not scientific. Do smarter people dream more? If you don't remember, we all have an average of 45 dreams every night, each lasting between 5 and 20 minutes. Of course, there are some that last a few seconds and some that last 45 minutes, but please, as long as you don't have any illness and don't have difficulty entering the REM phase of sleep. So there is no real connection between intelligence and dreaming itself, but some studies have shown that people with higher IQ scores remember their dreams more often, and there are some limited and there are also speculative studies, but these have not yet been proven. Therefore, it is difficult to say for now that there is a strong relationship between dreams and IQ. Did you know that the first cars were not gasoline-powered but electric? As I told you before, internal combustion engines were actually controlled explosives, so it didn't take long for people to master this technology. We had already mastered electricity in the 19th century. In 1828, the Hungarian engineer Amaze was the first to show that an electric car was possible. The English inventor Thomas Parker produced the first practical working electric car in 1880, but the only evidence that has survived is a photograph. Therefore, German inventor Andreas Flocken or Scottish engineer Robert Anderson are known as the fathers of electric cars. Regardless, these vehicles were quiet, easy to drive, and increasingly they offered a solution to worsening air pollution. Alas, as steam engines dominated the field, longer range, faster, charging gasoline vehicles widened the roads and were forgotten by electric vehicles. Can drinking water from a plastic bottle cause cancer? The main reason why polyethylene terephthalate or simply plastic bottles are so popular is that it is an incredibly stable plastic, which makes it a great barrier. However, no matter how stable a plastic bottle is, when you expose it to extremely high temperatures, for example, in a summer when you leave it in your car or under direct sunlight, the antimony compounds used in plastic production start to leak into the water more quickly. This increases the risk of cancer, but fortunately, research has shown that even if you leave plastic bottles at temperatures above 60 degrees for days, the amount of substance that leaks into the water is far from the threshold that is harmful to humans. Of course, do not leave the bottles under the sun intentionally, but if you do, nothing will happen for a short time. You ever thought about why whales spray water when they come to the surface of the water? Well, remember that they don't actually spray water. Whales are not fish, they are mammals like you or your cat. Therefore, they breathe with lungs and they only know the oxygen in the air, not the oxygen dissolved in water like fish. Therefore, although whales spend most of their time underwater, they occasionally breathe. They have to come to the surface and breathe, but whales can hold their breath for up to 3.5 hours in some cases, and often for an hour or two. Secondly, whales' body temperature is the same as ours, around 36.5 degrees, despite living in icy oceans. Therefore, the air that remains in their lungs for hours becomes very hot. They suddenly ejected this hot air on the surface. This hot air meeting with the cold air cools down rapidly and condenses. The ejected substance is a mixture of liquid water and air. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the unexpected and the extraordinary. If you had fun discovering these fascinating facts, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Discovery Dynamics, and share your favorite fact in the comments below. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video.